What if one of the most beloved sitcoms in TV history was built on secrets nobody ever talked about? A star who nearly died before the show even started. A guest appearance paid for with whiskey. A legal battle over a doll. And an episode that 65 million Americans watched for reasons that had nothing to do with comedy. The Beverly Hillbillies looked simple on the surface. A family from the hills, a mansion in California, a cement pond. But behind all of it was a show full of stories that never made it to air. Here are 13 weird facts about the Beverly Hillbillies, 1962 you didn't know. Fact 13. Buddy Ebsen nearly died before the show started. Buddy Ebsen was already a working actor with real Hollywood credits when he landed the role of Jed Clampett. But years before the Beverly Hillbillies ever aired, he almost didn't survive long enough to take it. In 1939, he was cast as the Tin Man in The Wizard of Oz. It looked like the biggest break of his career. The makeup team used aluminum powder to give him that metallic silver look. Every day on set, Ebsen breathed in fine particles of the stuff without anyone realizing the danger. This is one of those weird facts about the Beverly Hillbillies 1962 that starts before the show even existed. The damage was being done long before a single camera rolled on the Clampett family. Within days, his breathing deteriorated badly enough that he had to be hospitalized. Doctors found his lungs had been coated with aluminum. He spent 2 weeks fighting for his life while the studio quietly replaced him with Jack Haley, who used a safer paste-based makeup instead. The lung damage stayed with Ebsen for decades. He recovered, rebuilt his career, and eventually became Jed Clampett. But the man who played one of television's most beloved patriarchs spent 9 seasons on screen carrying permanent damage from a costume he wore for less than a week. Fact 12. Granny's slaps were completely real. Every time Granny hauled off and smacked Jethro across the face, audiences laughed and assumed it was staged. It looked like classic sitcom physical comedy. The timing was perfect, and Jethro always stumbled away looking dazed. Most viewers watching the Beverly Hillbillies 1962 never questioned it. Irene Ryan, who played Granny, admitted in interviews that she put her full strength into every single slap she delivered. She wasn't holding back. She wasn't pulling her punches. She was genuinely swinging at Max Baer Jr. with everything she had, episode after episode, season after season. Here's what makes that stranger. Max Baer Jr. was the son of a heavyweight boxing champion. He was a physically imposing man who towered over the petite Ryan. And yet this small, older woman was connecting on him for real, take after take, and he just took it as part of the job. Ryan's commitment to the character was total. Granny wasn't a performance to her. She was a real mountain woman who hit hard and meant it. Knowing the slaps were genuine adds a whole different layer to every scene she shared with Baer. That was real contact every time. Before moving ahead, take a quick second to subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for the next story. Fact 11. John Wayne got paid in bourbon. In 1967, the producers of the Beverly Hillbillies wanted John Wayne for a guest appearance. This was one of the biggest stars in Hollywood, a man who could command serious money for anything he agreed to do. Getting him to show up for a sitcom episode should have cost a fortune. When they nervously approached him with the request, the kind of ask that could easily come back with a number nobody wanted to hear, Wayne's answer stopped them cold. These kinds of weird facts about the Beverly Hillbillies. 1962 don't get much stranger than this. He told them to give him a fifth of bourbon and they'd call it square. He meant it literally. Wayne was a genuine fan of the show and had no interest in being paid like a movie star for a quick television cameo. He wanted a bottle of whiskey, and that was the entire negotiation. The producers agreed before he could change his mind. The episode aired, the fans loved it, and one of the most bankable names in Hollywood walked away with a single bottle of bourbon as his fee. The producers got one of the greatest deals in television history. Wayne got exactly what he actually wanted. Fact 10. The mansion's address was leaked by TV Guide. The house used as the Clampett Mansion was a real estate on Shalon Road in Bel Air, California, owned by a Chicago hotel magnate named Arnold Kirkaby. He rented it to the production for $500 a day, with one strict condition attached. The exact location had to stay confidential. Kirkaby died in a plane crash before the show ever aired. His widow honored the deal and kept filming going, maintaining the same secrecy agreement her husband had insisted on. For a while, it held. Here's the Beverly Hillbillies. 1962 was one of the most watched shows on television, and millions of people saw that mansion every week without knowing where it actually was. Then TV Guide published the address. Just like that, the secret was gone. Fans began showing up constantly, hoping to catch a glimpse of the cast or the property they had watched on screen for years. The widow could no longer live quietly in her own home. She eventually pulled out of the agreement entirely. The production had to recreate the mansion's exterior on studio backlots, and the era of filming at the real property was over. One magazine blurb ended what the show's own producers had carefully protected for years. Fact 9. Max Baer Jr. played his own twin sister. If you watch the first season closely, Jethro had a twin sister named Jethreen, who appeared in 11 episodes. She was tall, broad-shouldered, and wore a long wig with women's clothing. And yes, that was exactly who you thought it was. Max Baer Jr. played both characters. The producers of the Beverly Hillbillies, 1962, decided early on to save money and add a comedic angle by having Baer dress in full drag and portray Jethreen alongside his regular role as Jethro. The challenge was keeping both characters credible on screen at the same time, which required careful camera work, quick cuts, and stand-ins. What most viewers never knew was that Baer didn't provide the character's voice. That job went to Linda Kay Henning, the daughter of the show's creator, Paul Henning, who dubbed all of Jethreen's dialogue to give her that high-pitched feminine delivery. After the first season, Jethreen quietly disappeared and was rarely mentioned again. The whole arrangement existed entirely within one season, forgotten by most fans. But somewhere in those early episodes, Jethro and his twin sister are technically the same person, built out of a wig, a dress, and somebody else's voice. Fact 8. 55 episodes are free to use forever. Here is one of the most expensive mistakes in television history. When the Beverly Hillbillies ended its run in 1971, the rights passed through several companies until they landed with Orion Television. And then someone forgot to do something very basic. Under copyright law at the time, episodes broadcast between 1923 and 1963 had to be renewed, or they fell into the public domain. Orion failed to renew the copyrights on 55 episodes, including all 36 from the first season and the first 19 of Season 2. This is a weird fact about the Beverly Hillbillies, 1962, that still costs rights holders money to this day. The moment those renewals lapsed, those episodes became public property. Any station, distributor, or home video label could use them without paying a cent to anyone. That is exactly what happened. Cheap DVD releases flooded the market. Small stations ran them freely. None of it required permission. There was one catch. The theme song was still protected. So anyone using those public domain episodes had to swap it out for generic banjo music that sounded vaguely similar. If you ever watched an episode that felt slightly off at the opening, that was why. 55 episodes gone because someone forgot to file the paperwork. Fact 7. The cement pond was not made of cement. For 9 seasons, Jed Clampett lovingly called the mansion's swimming pool the cement pond. It was one of the show's most quoted phrases, a perfect piece of character writing that captured exactly how Jed saw the world. Folksy, plain, and unpretentious. When production began at the Real Bel Air estate in 1962, the crew discovered the pool was built from gunite, a specialized concrete blend sprayed on at high pressure. The Beverly Hillbillies 1962 was built around a family who called things what they looked like to them, and gunite was never going to make it into the script. The writers knew the technical truth and chose to ignore it completely. The term cement pond fit Jed's character in a way that accuracy never could. It sounded like a man who had never seen a swimming pool before and was doing his best to describe one in language that made sense to him. The decision was the right one. Cement pond became one of the most recognized phrases in sitcom history. Audiences never cared about the gunite. They cared about Jed. And Jed called it a cement pond. Fact 6. Buddy Ebsen rewrote Jed Clampett. Before filming, when Buddy Ebsen first read the scripts for the Beverly Hillbillies, he nearly walked. Not because of the concept, he liked the premise. The problem was how the writers had written Jed. In the early drafts, Jed was supposed to be the fool, a bumbling, clueless hillbilly who got laughed at constantly. Ebsen sat down with creator Paul Henning and refused to play that version of the character. He had just finished a strong, dramatic role in Breakfast at Tiffany's and knew exactly what made a character work. Among the weird facts about the Beverly Hillbillies 1962, this one changed everything about the show before a single episode filmed. He insisted Jed be written as a man with genuine wisdom and quiet dignity. Someone who could see through Beverly Hills' pretension without being fooled by it. Uneducated, yes. Unintelligent, never. Ebsen wanted Jed to be the straight man, not the punchline. The writers pushed back, then agreed. They shifted the comedic incompetence entirely onto Jethro, and the show clicked into place because of it. Jed Clampett became one of the most quietly respected characters in sitcom history. That happened because one actor refused to play him any other way. Fact 5. The most watched sitcom episode in history aired because of a murder. On January 8, 1964, a Beverly Hillbillies episode called The Giant Jackrabbit was watched by 65% of all television owners in America. Nothing in sitcom history before or since has matched that number. And the episode itself was completely ordinary. The reason 65 million people watched Granny mistake a kangaroo for a giant jackrabbit had almost nothing to do with the show. 6 weeks earlier, President John F. Kennedy had been assassinated. The country was still in deep mourning. The Beverly Hillbillies 1962 was already the #1 show on television. But this was something different. That night, President Lyndon Johnson delivered his first State of the Union address. Millions of Americans were already watching their televisions when it ended. While most of them simply did not change the channel. The Clampetts came on next, and the audience stayed. The episode recorded a 39.1 rating. It remains the most watched half-hour sitcom episode ever broadcast. The show didn't earn that record by being exceptional that night. It earned it by being there, giving a grieving country somewhere to land for 30 minutes. Fact 4. Donna Douglas sued Mattel over a doll. Years after the Beverly Hillbillies ended, Donna Douglas found out that Mattel had produced a Barbie doll based on Ellie Mae Clampett. The doll was part of a classic TV collection, and the packaging featured a photograph of Douglas herself in the role. Nobody had asked her permission. Douglas filed a federal lawsuit in 2011 against both Mattel and CBS Consumer Products. One of the stranger weird facts about the Beverly Hillbillies 1962 is that the legal fight was over who actually owned Ellie Mae's image once the show was done. Douglas was seeking $75,000 in damages. Mattel and CBS argued they held exclusive rights to the character, and had no obligation to seek her approval for merchandise. Their position was that the network owned Ellie Mae entirely, regardless of who had played her or what her face looked like. The case settled in December 2011. The terms were confidential. Both sides claimed to be satisfied. What Donna Douglas actually received was never disclosed, and what Mattel and CBS actually gave up was never disclosed either. The doll existed. The lawsuit happened. The rest stayed private. Fact 3. A Buddy Ebsen ran a radio ad against his co-star, Nancy Culp, played Miss Jane Hathaway for 9 seasons. She and Buddy Ebsen worked together on the Beverly Hillbillies 1962 through the entire run of the show. Off camera, they disagreed constantly about politics. Ebsen, a conservative Republican, Culp, a liberal Democrat, but they stayed professional. In 1984, that ended. Culp ran for a House seat in Pennsylvania as a Democrat. At some point during the campaign, she suggested publicly that her former castmates supported her. Ebsen heard that and did not let it pass. He recorded a radio advertisement for her Republican opponent. In the ad, he criticized Culp directly, calling her too liberal for the district. He later said publicly he believed she was exploiting her celebrity from the show to chase a political office she didn't understand. Culp lost the election. The friendship did not survive. They reportedly had no contact again until shortly before Culp died of cancer in 1991. 7 years of silence between two people who had spent nearly a decade working side by side. One radio ad was all it took. Fact 2. Sharon Tate had a recurring role. Before Sharon Tate became one of the most tragic names in Hollywood history, she was a young actress building her career one television appearance at a time. Between 1963 and 1965, she appeared in 15 episodes of the Beverly Hillbillies as Janet Trego, a secretary at the Commerce Bank of Beverly Hills. Her character caught the eye of Jethro Bodine, and the two had an on-screen romance throughout her run. This was some of her earliest credited television work, and the show's massive ratings meant millions of Americans were watching her perform every week. The Beverly Hillbillies 1962 gave her a level of visibility that most young actors spend years trying to reach. She was still working her way toward bigger things. The recurring role alongside established cast members gave her experience and exposure during the years when her career was being built. Her natural charisma came through in every appearance. On August 9, 1969, Sharon Tate was murdered by members of the Manson family. She was 26 years old and 8.5 months pregnant. Those 15 episodes on the Beverly Hillbillies are part of what she left behind. A young actress, visible and working before everything was taken from her. Fact 1. Hollywood's most famous cat had a secret role. Orangey was one of the most decorated animal actors in Hollywood history. The orange tabby appeared in multiple films and television productions during the 1950s and 60s, including the role of Cat in Breakfast at Tiffany's alongside Audrey Hepburn. He was a genuine Hollywood professional. He also played Ellie Mae's cat, Rusty, throughout the Beverly Hillbillies 1962, a fact most fans of the show never knew. All of the animals on the series were supplied by trainer Frank Inn, a legendary figure in Hollywood animal work. Donna Douglas, who played Ellie Mae, spoke warmly about Inn in interviews and genuinely loved working with his animals. Then came an episode called Ellie's Animals. The scene required Orangey to swim in the pool. The solution was simple and apparently non-negotiable. Someone threw the cat in. Orangey was not happy about it. When Douglas lifted him out and wrapped him in a towel, he turned and took a swipe at Buddy Ebsen, a 2-time Patsy Award winner, Hollywood's most celebrated cat, soaking wet and furious at a television legend. That is how Orangey's time on the Beverly Hillbillies is remembered. Not for 15 episodes of polished animal acting, for one swing at Jed Clampett that nobody planned and everyone on set remembered. The Beverly Hillbillies looked like the simplest show on television. A family, a mansion, a fish-out-of-water premise. But behind it was a show full of accidents, battles, tragedies, and decisions that shaped 9 seasons of television history. Which one of these facts hit you hardest? Let us know in the comments below. And if you want more stories like this, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss one.